My name's Megan, 28, and cars have been my obsession since I was a kid. 5 years of 70-hour weeks finally bought me my dream, a 1969 Corvette Stingray, the same model my grandpa once restored and swore had a soul. My parents never understood. Grease on my hands was unladylike, but when my brother wanted dance lessons or a new gadget, doors opened instantly. I got lectures and hand-me-downs. He got parties and cars. I didn't resent him, but the favoritism cut deep. I pushed through college, a finance career, saving every cent until the day I drove my own red Stingray home. It wasn't just metal. It was victory. It was Grandpa's ghost riding with me. For 2 years, I protected it like treasure. Then came Dubai. 3 weeks abroad, promotion on the line. Worried about break-ins, I left the car at my parents' Coral Gables house, locking it under strict instructions, no driving, only Dad to start it once a week. He promised it was safe. When I returned, the garage was empty. "Where's my car?" I demanded. Mom smirked. "Thanks to the car money, your brother's having a great time." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "For that useless thing." Her smile collapsed into fury. "What the hell is so funny?" she screamed. And that's where everything started to unravel. The moment I stepped off the plane in Dubai, part of me still lingered on the Corvette parked in my parents' garage in Coral Gables. I trusted my boyfriend's swap plan to keep it safe, but my brother's whining about needing a vacation replayed in my head. My passion had started when I was 7, spending Saturdays in Grandpa's garage. While other kids watched cartoons, I learned to swap spark plugs and wipe grease from my hands. His prized 1969 Corvette Stingray gleamed under the lights, and he'd say, "These aren't just cars, they've got souls." At 10, I swore I'd own one. My parents never understood. Mom pushed me toward normal hobbies, Dad dismissed my interest, but my younger brother was indulged in everything he wanted. Guitar lessons, sneakers, a huge birthday party, even an SUV for graduation, while I got lectures and hand-me-downs. I left for college, worked 3 jobs, kept a 4.0, and landed a brutal but lucrative finance job. Every spare dollar went into my Stingray fund. After 5 years, I finally found it, a red '69 Corvette from a collector in Georgia. Driving it home, I whispered, "We did it, Grandpa." For 2 years, I treated it like royalty. Then came the Dubai trip, 3 weeks that could make my career. But car thefts in Miami made me nervous, so I left the Stingray with my parents. Dad admired it, promising to keep it safe. I gave strict instructions: start it weekly, don't drive it, keep it covered. That night at dinner, my brother complained about needing a Caribbean getaway. Mom fussed, Dad mumbled about money. It stuck with me. Before leaving, I confirmed with my boyfriend he'd swap in his replica the next day, nearly identical, but far less valuable. Relieved, I boarded my flight. Still, unease followed me. That dinner, their sympathy for my brother, it felt like a storm brewing. As my plane touched down in Dubai, I tried to focus on the high-stakes deal ahead, but a nagging worry about my Corvette lingered. My boyfriend's swap plan should have kept it safe, yet my family's history of bending over backward for my brother gnawed at me. That car was years in the making. After college, I worked brutal 70-hour weeks at a top bank, living like a broke student and funneling every dollar into what I called my Stingray fund. 5 years later, I founded a flawless red 1969 Corvette from a collector in Georgia. The day I drove it home, I whispered, "We did it." Grandpa feeling him there beside me. It wasn't just a car, it was proof I'd built something for myself. 6 months later, I met my boyfriend at a Miami car show. He drove a replica Stingray, and we bonded instantly over our obsession. For 2 years, I babied my car, clear skies, only climate-controlled storage, every bolt checked by me. Then came the call, 3 weeks in Dubai, leading a multi-million-dollar pitch. Career-defining, thrilling, except for one problem: Miami's car break-ins. I didn't trust storage units, so I turned to the only option that seemed safe, my parents' Coral Gables garage. Dad admired the car as I rolled it in. "Grandpa would have loved this," he said softly. I laid out strict rules: start it weekly, no driving, cover it always. He agreed, maybe too quickly. That night my brother showed up for dinner moaning about his stressful marketing job and how all his friends were going on a Caribbean cruise. Mom fussed. Dad muttered about tight finances, but she silenced him with a look. I stayed quiet, biting back memories of juggling 3 jobs in college with no sympathy. Before leaving, I called my boyfriend. "I'll swap in my replica tomorrow," he promised. From the outside, it looked identical, but was worth far less. It was the perfect safety net. I boarded my flight confident everything was under control, but my brother's entitled whining, Mom's quick pity, and Dad's too easy nod stayed with me. I didn't know it yet, but that dinner had already set a fuse burning. My 3 weeks in Dubai vanished in a blur of late nights and high-stakes meetings. The project was a smash hit, a $10 million contract signed, my boss hinting at a VP title. I should have been celebrating, picturing myself cruising Ocean Drive in my Corvette. Instead, a knot of worry sat in my chest. My parents swore the car was safe, but Mom kept hinting at a surprise when I got back. When I finally pulled into their Coral Gables driveway, the garage door was wide open. Dad's truck, Mom's sedan. No Corvette. My pulse spiked. Mom greeted me at the door, smile too bright. "Welcome home." "Where's my car?" I snapped. Her expression shifted, smug, defensive. Dad fumbled with a golf magazine. "Something came up while you were gone." Mom cut in, chin raised. "Your brother needed a break. Thanks to the car money, he's on a well-deserved Caribbean cruise." I froze. "You sold my car." She pulled up his Instagram, him on deck, cocktail in hand, grinning. The room spun. That car was mine, registered in my name. "You had no right." Mom's eyes narrowed. "It's just a car, Megan. You make plenty. Your brother needed this more." I laughed bitterly. 5 years of 70-hour weeks for Grandpa's memory, and you traded it for a vacation. Dad muttered, "You're the strong one. He needs more support." How much I demanded? 50,000, Dad admitted. My jaw dropped. It was worth 85. "You didn't even check." They looked guilty. I pressed harder. "Who bought it?" "Some collector in Pennsylvania," Dad said vaguely. Then my phone buzzed. My boyfriend just pulled up, ready to swap back. The truth hit me like lightning. The swap. A laugh tore out of me, sharp and rising. Mom's face twisted. "What the hell is so funny?" I stepped outside to meet my boyfriend. His face paled. "Wait, you mean they sold, not mine?" I cut in, grinning. "Yours." Their heads whipped toward me. "What do you mean?" Dad stammered. "You sold his replica. My Corvette's been safe this whole time." Mom's face drained white. Dad's mouth fell open. "You didn't just betray me," I said coldly. "You humiliated yourselves. And now you've got a hell of a mess to fix." Mom stood frozen in the driveway, her face pale as my boyfriend's words hung in the air. "You sold my car," he repeated, voice low but firm. "A replica, sure, but still mine without permission." Dad stammered, "We thought it was Megan's. They looked the same." My boyfriend crossed his arms. "That's the point. They're meant to look alike, but mine's worth $30,000, not 85. You didn't just mess up. You made a serious mistake that could land you in hot water." I watched their panic set in, Mom gripping Dad's arm, her eyes darting like she was searching for an excuse. "We didn't know," she whispered, voice trembling. "We just wanted to help your brother." I shook my head, anger flaring. "Help him? By taking something that wasn't yours? You didn't even ask me." Dad tried to calm things. "Megan, we'll fix this. We thought you'd understand. Family helps." "Family?" I laughed bitterly. "Family? You mean helping your favorite kid while stomping all over me?" My phone buzzed again, an unknown number. I answered, wary. "This is Megan." A man's voice came through, clipped and professional. "Mark Thompson from Pennsylvania. I bought a 1969 Corvette Stingray from your parents. There's an issue with the title transfer." My heart skipped, but I kept my voice steady. Mr. Thompson, there's been a misunderstanding. Can I call you back in an hour? I need to sort some details. He agreed, and I hung up, turning to my parents' anxious faces. That was your buyer, I said coldly. The title's wrong because the car belongs to my boyfriend, not me. Mom's eyes welled up, but I felt no urge to comfort her. What now? Dad asked, looking older, deflated. My boyfriend spoke up. First, we need the buyer's info and exactly how much he paid. Then we figure out how to make this right. They scrambled inside, digging through papers while I stepped aside with my boyfriend. In the driveway, we spoke quietly. I can't believe they did this, he said, shaking his head. Your own parents. I sighed. They've always put my brother first. I just didn't think they'd go this far. Do you want to take this to court? He asked. We could. It's a clear-cut case. I hesitated. I don't want them locked up, but they can't walk away scot-free. They need to feel this. He nodded, squeezing my hand. We'll figure it out together. Back inside, my parents handed over a folder with the sale documents. I flipped through, my boyfriend leaning in. The papers were a disaster, forged signatures, a fake bill of sale, even the wrong VIN number. This is worse than I thought, he muttered. They didn't just sell my car, they botched the paperwork completely. Mom started crying loud and dramatic. We didn't know about VINs or titles. We just wanted to help your brother. I snapped back. Congratulations! You made a serious mistake, ruined our trust and all, for a cruise he didn't earn. Dad's voice was barely a whisper. What are you going to do? I looked at my boyfriend, then back at them. We're calling Mr. Thompson. And you're going to explain exactly what you did. I dialed my brother next, tracking him down on his cruise via the ship's satellite phone. Megan. He answered, music and laughter in the background. What's up? I didn't hold back. What's up is Mom and Dad sold a car to fund your little vacation. A car that wasn't theirs. There was a pause, then he chuckled. Oh, come on. You're mad about your precious car. You can buy another one. My blood boiled. It wasn't my car, you idiot. It was my boyfriend's. What they did was wrong, legally wrong. They could face serious consequences. Consequences. His tone shifted, the carefree vibe gone. Like what? Like court, I said. You need to get off that ship at the next port and fly home. This isn't optional. You're part of this mess. He protested. The cruise isn't over for a week. I cut him off. Then figure it out. You knew they were pulling strings for you, didn't you, Silence? That's what I thought I said. Get home. I'll send details. The next day, we met Mark Thompson at a coffee shop halfway between Miami and his home in Pennsylvania. He was a middle-aged car enthusiast, clearly pissed. So I bought a stolen car with fake papers, he asked, face reddening. Not stolen, I clarified, but sold without permission. They thought it was mine. He wasn't buying it. I paid $50,000, registered it, insured it. This is a nightmare. My boyfriend stepped in, calm but firm. We'll make it right. Full refund of $50,000 plus $5,000 for your trouble. Thompson leaned back, considering. And the car? Return to me, my boyfriend said. It's legally mine. After tense negotiation, he agreed, but only if the money hit his account first. Now we needed my parents to cough up $55,000. Back at their house, they were a wreck. $55,000, Mom gasped. We don't have that kind of money, I crossed my arms. You mentioned home repairs ate your budget. Sell something, take a loan, your call. You created this. Dad tried bargaining. Maybe $40,000 tops. My boyfriend shook his head. Not enough. Full amount, plus compensation for my time. Or we go to court. Mom's face crumpled. But your brother, he's just starting out, I snapped. Then he shouldn't be on luxury cruises, should he? Actions have consequences for everyone, not just me. When my brother arrived, the family meeting turned ugly fast. He stormed in defensive. Why am I getting dragged into this? I didn't sell anything, I glared. You begged for that trip knowing Mom and Dad would bail you out. He sneered. You're just jealous they care about me more. The room went quiet, his words slicing deep. Jealous, I said, voice low. They've babied you your whole life, and now they've crossed a line. I'm done. Mom started yelling, cursing me out, like in the driveway, calling me selfish. Dad tried to defend them, but I was past listening. I called my lawyer friend, ready to take this to the next level. The air in my parents' living room was thick with tension as my brother's accusation hung between us. His words, "You're just jealous they care about me more," burned, exposing the raw truth of our family's imbalance. Mom's curses still echoed in my head, her face red from yelling while Dad sat silently unable to meet my eyes. I stood firm, phone in hand, already dialing my lawyer friend, Lisa Harper. "Megan, please." Mom begged, her voice cracking now, all traces of anger gone. "Don't do this. We're family. Family doesn't do this." I shot back, my voice steady despite the fury bubbling inside. "You sold property that wasn't yours, forged papers, and handed my brother a vacation he didn't earn. I'm not letting this slide." My boyfriend nodded, his expression hard but supportive. "We're meeting Lisa today," I said. "You'd better start figuring out how to come up with $55,000. We left their house and drove to Lisa's office in downtown Miami, a sleek space with glass walls and a no-nonsense vibe. Lisa, a sharp criminal lawyer I'd met at a networking event, listened as we laid out the mess: my parents' unauthorized sale, the fake documents, the wrong VIN. "Let's be clear," she said, leaning back in her chair. "What they did is a serious mistake, potentially actionable as theft or misrepresentation. With no prior record, jail's unlikely, but a civil suit could hit them hard for damages." I glanced at my boyfriend. "We don't want prison," I said, "but they need to pay literally and figuratively." Lisa outlined our options: press charges and let the courts handle it, sue for the car's value plus damages, or settle privately with a binding agreement. "The cleanest fix is to unwind the sale," she said. "Refund the buyer, get the car back. But that means your parents need $55,000 fast, or the buyer might escalate this himself." My boyfriend spoke up. "We've already talked to Mark Thompson. He's agreed to return my car if he gets his money back plus $5,000 for the hassle." Smart, Lisa said, jotting notes. "I'll draft a settlement agreement, full restitution, notarized apology, and a clause barring them from touching your property again." I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and resolve. This wasn't just about the money. It was about drawing a line they'd never cross again. We left her office and called Mark Thompson, arranging to meet him the next day to finalize the deal. He was frustrated but cooperative as long as the cash came through. Back at my apartment, I braced for the next battle, facing my parents and brother again. They showed up unannounced that evening, looking like they hadn't slept. Mom's eyes were red, Dad's shoulders slumped. My brother trailed behind, sullen. "Megan, we're so sorry," Dad started, voice breaking. "We'll make this right." Mom jumped in, desperate. "We'll get a home equity loan, whatever it takes." I raised an eyebrow. "You said money was tight from the remodel. Where's this loan coming from?" Dad hesitated. "We'll find a way. Maybe sell some investments." My brother piped up, defensive. "This isn't my fault. I didn't tell them to sell anything." I turned on him, voice like ice. "You whined about needing a cruise knowing they'd jump to fix your problems. You're not a kid anymore. Own it." He glared, muttering, "You've always hated me getting more attention." Mom started to defend him, but I cut her off. "Enough. You all made this mess. You're paying for it." Over the next 2 days, we hammered out the details. Lisa finalized the settlement. My parents would take out a $40,000 home equity loan. My brother would cough up $10,000 from his savings, likely padded by their handouts over the years, and they'd sell Mom's designer handbags for the last $5,000. My boyfriend insisted on the notarized apology, a legal promise never to meddle with our property again. Mom balked. "A signed document feels so cold," she said. Lisa didn't blink. "It's that or a lawsuit. Your choice." They signed faces grim. The money was wired to Mark Thompson, and my boyfriend's replica Stingray was returned undamaged. Driving my real Corvette home from his garage, the familiar rumble should have felt like victory, but it didn't. The betrayal cut too deep. I called my Uncle Richard, Grandpa's brother, who'd always been my rock. They did what he said, outraged. "Selling your boyfriend's car without asking, that's not just wrong, it's a violation." Grandpa would be furious. His support grounded me, but it also cemented my decision. I sat down with my boyfriend that night, staring at the Stingray parked outside his apartment. "I'm done with them," I said, voice quiet but certain. "No more calls, no more visits. I'm cutting them off." He squeezed my hand. "You sure?" I nodded. "They've crossed too many lines. I can't keep letting them hurt me." The next day, I blocked their numbers, ignored their texts, and had Lisa file a civil suit for additional damages, emotional distress, time lost, legal fees. Not to destroy them, but to make them feel the weight of their actions. A month later, I drove my Corvette along Miami's coast, the ocean sparkling under the sun. The car was still my link to Grandpa, my symbol of hard-won independence, but now it meant more a reminder to protect my boundaries no matter who crosses them. From this I learned that family isn't always a safe haven. Sometimes the people closest to you will trample your trust to prop up someone else. My warning to everyone: guard your worth, your possessions, your heart. Cutting ties isn't failure, it's survival. A step toward a life where you're not diminished by those who claim to love you. Thank you for listening to my story. If it hit home, please like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments. Have you ever had to stand up to family who crossed your lines? Let me know. I'm reading everyone.